Welcome to another episode of Trails from DuPage, where we explore the best biking trails in and around DuPage County. In today's episode, we're going to take one of the least used sections of the Illinois Prairie Path and do a southwestern loop from Naperville down to Aurora, up to North Aurora, Batavia, and back again. We start our trip from a small parking lot with trail access off Deal Road and Shore Road just west of Route 59. I like the sweet sound the engine makes. We cross Shore Road, and after just one block, we encounter a detour, kind of a permanent detour. The trail used to go straight through here, but at Frontenac we have to make a right turn and work our way up towards Deal Road. Every weekday is a Solex day. Rain or shine, I ride it, I like to say. Come and ride with me. The trail continues on the sidewalk along Deal Road until we get to the tracks, not too far away. The permanent closure of the trail for this one block was caused because of Canadian National acquiring the railroad tracks. They had used to be an abandoned tracks for a long time, but now with increased rail traffic, it's safer to route the trail users up along Deal Road. Now there is a side path here that goes underneath the high wires, but continue on the paved path until it curves, and then we will be on the Illinois Prairie Path. From this point onward, the trail continues underneath the high tension wires. And it becomes clear as you travel along this route that you can see that it is not as used as other trails. It's a little narrower, there's more weeds growing up through the trails. But soon we get to Eola Road, where they have built an overpass, making it easier for us to continue uninterrupted on our route.
Let's go riding on a Velosolex. The sun is shining and I am up for a ride. We can drive it to the ocean. We can park it, sit and wait.
Although the space is quite open here, because it's a less used path, you sometimes run into some unexpected things, like I did on this particular trip, where there was a deer wandering on the trail.
I like the sweet sound the engine makes.
She was obviously as curious about me as I was about her. She slowly saunters off the trail and stands in the weeds, watching me pass her by. While Aurora extends further east, technically I consider Farnsworth Avenue the point at which I'm crossing into Aurora. It's a busy street, so you have to take your time to cross here. It's aside from the crosswalk, it's pretty unprotected.
Let's go riding on a Velosolex. The sun is shining and I am up for a ride. We can drive it to the ocean.
When we reach the Church Avenue crossing, we enter a small wooded area. At this point, the elevation starts to go down as we enter the Fox River Valley. Before we exit the woods at Indian Trail Road, the trail becomes paved, and it stays paved all the way up until we're almost back into DuPage County. From Indian Trail Road down to Route 25, or also called Aurora Avenue here, the trail used to have a lot of graffiti and broken bottles and glass on the trail. But in the recent years, it's been cleaned up, it's nicely paved, and it's a wonderful ride. It's a little tricky, however, when you get to Hanks Road. You might not see, as I did, the sign that directed you to follow Hanks Road towards Route 25. I went right into the parking lot across the street, so don't make the same mistake. Right after crossing Route 25, there's a steep drop-off as the trail dips down towards the river. You pick up quite a lot of speed, but the trail makes a sharp left turn, so do be careful and slow down as you approach. At this point now, we're riding on the Fox River Trail. It runs along the river on both sides, and we'll be taking it southbound towards downtown Aurora, and then back north along the west bank. As we get closer to downtown Aurora, we will come into a new park, a River Edge Park. Construction on the park was started in 2018. The walking bridge is closed and marked private property, unfortunately. Right across the street, which is called North Broadway at this point, is the Roundhouse Restaurant, originally opened by Walter Payton and contained some of his memorabilia. Today it's owned by the Two Brothers Brewery, and it's a very lovely restaurant, worth a while to go there and visit. In the downtown area, we will approach the Hollywood Casino, and the trail will swing up towards Broadway Avenue again, away from the river, for a couple of blocks. Now you could technically take New York Street across past Hollywood Casino, but you would be missing one of the best features in Aurora. So you should really continue for 2 more blocks southbound until you get to Downers Place, and then the first place you can turn in is Hoyt Place. And here is an entrance to a ramp that goes right down along the river. And it's a very beautifully created stretch along the river that takes you underneath the roadways. But what I found very interesting here was a canoeing kayaking obstacle course. Unfortunately, when I was filming it here, we were in the middle of a drought and there was no water in it. But I imagine there could be a lot of interesting activity along this canoe course or kayaking course when the water is higher. So it's definitely worthwhile to come by this way. Not only that, it's a very pleasant ride here in the downtown area.
When you saw me drive up to your place, let's go riding on the Solex today. Let's go riding on the Solex today. Every weekday is the Solex.
We exit the downtown area when we reach the Hollywood Casino Bridge, or overpass from the parking lot to the casino itself. It was interesting, in the old days, the casino was actually a riverboat, as it was required to be, and they had put rails into the river, and the riverboat actually sailed or rolled on these casters in the river up and back, and they had a session of gambling until they got back. But now we're on our way back north along the west bank of the Fox River and the West Bank Fox River Trail. And again, it's well manicured and it's a beautiful ride.
Riding on the Solex today.
After crossing Illinois Avenue, we have to pay a little bit attention to the signage. There's private drives and parking lots on either side of the trail. And if we select the wrong trail, we will end up in a dead-end location. So make sure we stay in the middle and stay right on the trail. There's plenty of shade on this section of the trail between Aurora and Batavia. We will be passing through North Aurora once we go underneath I-88. And just after North Aurora is a property called Mooseheart, founded by the Moose Lodge, and they take care of children who become orphaned or other needs that live in a residential, and they live there in a residential setting. The property is actually over 1,000 acres. It's not visible from the trail, but it's just worthwhile knowing that you are passing this very nice and charitable institution.
I look so cool, arriving on my Solex. That's what you told me when you saw me drive.
In North Aurora, as we pass under State Street, we see one of the many dams that are or were built on the Fox River. Many of them are being taken down today to restore the river to its natural habitat. But this is a pretty section, and you have a little bit of an uphill climb here, not much, because of the dam. It might be worthwhile to stop and take a look at the people fishing here. It isn't far from State Street in North Aurora until you get to Batavia. And the first thing you'll see when you enter Batavia is their wonderful quarry pool. Towns like Naperville and Batavia have taken advantage of the old quarries. They were used for building many of the structures in the 1800s and turned them into beaches, as they call them. Anyway, when we reach the treatment plant in Batavia, we will now go down a very steep incline until we are down at the river level. This juncture marks the most northerly part of our route as we work our way back towards our starting location. We will cross the street and onto the sidewalk across the other side to continue our path over and across Clark Island via a series of bridges. Be careful as you approach the bridges. If you're here in the morning time when there's dew on the bridges, they can be very slippery as they are wooden planks. And I don't believe they really have anti-skid strips on them. So you do have two bridges getting onto Clark Island and then one bridge coming off. And these can all be slippery when it's wet or if there's dew on the ground.
I like the sweet sound the engine makes. I look so cool, arriving on my Solex. That's what you told me.
Prepare yourself for a couple of turns as you cross the third bridge off Clark Island to the east Fox River Trail. You'll be making a left turn and then a right turn immediately followed after that.
I like to say, come and ride with me.
It's only a short stretch down the east bank of the Fox River until we get to the junction where the trail splits between running towards Aurora or back towards Naperville or Wheatland. As we pass that junction, we are now getting back onto the Illinois Prairie Path Batavia branch. As we ride under the Route 25 overpass, the trail starts to go up as we work our way out of the Fox River Valley. There are a couple of side streets that we will be crossing in here. They're not too trafficked, so they're fairly easy crossings. However, by the time that we reach the third crossing, our paved trail ends, and we are then ready to pass Kirk Road via an overpass.
Let's go riding on the Solex today.
After passing Kirk Road, we ride down towards Butterfield Road with Fermi Lab on our left side. Now, Butterfield Road is an unprotected crossing, so you had best stop there as there is a lot of traffic.
We can park and sit and wait for the tide to change.
From here, we're almost at the county line, going from Kane County back into DuPage County. In fact, if you draw a straight line north of the county line, it would pass right through the main building in Fermi Lab.
I look so cool, arriving on my Solex. That's what you told me when you saw me.
The next intersection we encounter is Mullerton Road. Visibility is not very good here, so it's best to slow down and take a good look both ways. There's always a lot of traffic on Mullerton Road. But after Mullerton Road, it's only a short trek as the path heads down towards I-88. It makes a sharp left turn, and we're now headed west on our last stretch towards our parking lot. We do have to cross the off-ramp for Eola Road from I-88, and that also can be pretty busy. People don't tend to check for bicyclists or pedestrians in this crossing, so you're best off being very preventative as you cross here.
We can drive it to the ocean.
The trail will again swing parallel to I-88, and as you go along here, you will be crossing that same CN railroad track. They have recently installed crossing gates here. Again, when it was an abandoned track or very little traffic on it, you had to cross at your own risk. From the railroad tracks to our junction with the Aurora branch of the Illinois Prairie Path is a downhill ride. When you get to the tunnel, make sure you make a right turn and head through the tunnel down towards Deal Road. Immediately after crossing Deal Road, take the path that goes to the right. The trail that goes straight goes into a subdivision and dead ends at a cul-de-sac. At this point, there's only a 1/10 of a mile back to the parking lot. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you will get out and enjoy the trails when the weather permits.
I like riding on my Velosolex. I like the sweet sound the engine makes. I look so cool arriving on my Solex. That's what you told me when you saw me drive up to your place. Let's go riding, riding on my Solex today. Let's go riding, riding on my Solex today. Every weekday is a Solex day. Rain or shine, I ride it, I like to say. Come and ride with me, ride on a Solex today.